at all. 3. Some stand and then slide up next to the enemy's power, serving the individual organization instead of the people. Through this, we grow to understand that when an organization or group of organization is presented to the enemy, as in this case, the enemy will attempt to only negotiate with the political leadership that is most willing to compromise the needs and interests of the people and who have the most willingness to call for reform rather than freedom for all people. This is not to condemn these organizations or their leadership, but rather to suggest that the people work with these groups and organizations and educate them and their leaders to serve the interests of the people at all costs and at all times. We also wish to express to the people how important it is to recognize the meaning of the enemy's strategy. We must recognize that enemy propaganda and psychological warfare will be used throughout the struggle for freedom. We must combat enemy attempts to demoralize us, for in the face of the failure to achieve military solutions against the People's Army, the enemy has to then step up its efforts in the propaganda war. Their aim is to, 1, to prevent a liberation movement from getting underway by destroying it at its source, that is, by undermining the will to fight. And 2, where revolutionary warfare has actually begun, to conquer it by political means, that is to say, by granting just sufficient political, economic, and social reform for the moment to encourage all but the so-called extremists to abandon the struggle and then kill off the leadership of the people, as in the period of King and Malcolm, and then reinstate as they did the oppression and murder of the then defenseless people. In stating these facts, we wish to say that the collective leadership of the SLA would not under any circumstances or any terms compromise our position or that of the people's freedom, and no one should attempt to speak for us or assume that they by word or action can compromise any request made in behalf of the people by the SLA. On this point, we wish to state that the organizations who wish to take part in feeding the people should also cry out for the thousands of children of all colors who have been murdered and starved by the enemy state. They should cry out for the millions of children of all races that are starving and dying now, and not just cry out for the safety of one human being who just happens to be the daughter of an enemy of the people. Fight and cry out in the defense of millions and save the children. And by this action you will save also the life of one who has never seen the robbed or knew that the riches of her life were the spoils of a robber and murderer. It is in the judgment of this court that the Hearst family and the Hearst Corporation seems to be more foolishly concerned with the identities of supposed SLA elements rather than with the admission to the people of the crimes committed against the people by the Hearst Empire. By an act of good faith and a true showing to the people, not to the SLA, the Hearst Empire should demonstrate a change of interest, regret for its crimes against the people, and a firm decision that they will no longer be a party to such actions in the future. They should also demonstrate that they are not only concerned with freeing and making a better life for Patricia, but also freeing and making a better life for all the people. However, they have seemingly said by their actions that they know me, and therefore they do not have to repent for their crimes. However, to this I would say, yes, you do indeed know me. You have always known me. I'm that nigger you have hunted and feared night and day. I'm that nigger you have killed hundreds of my peoples in a vain hope of finding. I'm that nigger that is no longer just a hunted, robbed, and murdered. I'm the nigger that hunts you now. Yes, you know me. You know us all. You know me, I'm the wetback. You know me, I'm the gook, the broad, the servant, the spick. Yes, indeed, you know us all, and we know you, the oppressor, murderer, and robber. And you have hunted and robbed and exploited us all. Now we are the hunters that will give you no rest, and we will not compromise the freedom of our children. Death to the fascist insect that preys upon the life of the people.